Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Chantel. Today's video is way long overdue, but I'm going to be giving you my 3-month, 4.5-month boob job update. The last update I did was at 6 weeks post-op, and in that video I said I was going to be doing a 3-month update. But the reason why I kept on putting it off further and further is because things kept on changing, and there were some things that I wanted to do before filming the video just so I could give you the best update possible. And so now it's a month and a half later than I said I would update you, but here we are. As always, I have my list of 12 different updates that I want to give you, 12 questions that people have had in the comments or just in general that people have asked me. The last question on my list is actually the first thing that I'm going to talk about today, just because somebody said something in the comments of my last update video and it really just caught me off guard, so I need answers. In my last video, I did mention that there was a size discrepancy between the two and that my surgeon said that he would either deflate one a little bit or add more saline into the other. And someone in the comments said that if I do that, my warranty would be void. Now, I did reach out to them through email. They said they would get back to me within 2 business days. They did not. So, Miss Natural Allergen, I will be giving you a call on camera.
Please press 1. Otherwise, please wait 1 moment. Customer service is closed on Wednesday, June 19th. AbbVie and Allergan, our office is currently closed.
Okay, well, by the time I do edit this video and upload it, I will give you an answer and it will be somewhere here, okay? So I was wondering, does that affect my warranty at all?
I don't think so, but let me check. Do you mind? So he's not saying it's deflated. He just wants to make them big for you, correct?
Yeah, because he did 2 different sizes, but I guess he miscalculated, so now the size is off. Yeah. No warning or anything, just straight to hold.
All right, thank you for holding. So according to our directions for use, these devices are for single use, and it does go against the directions to go back in and add more saline, so it would void the warranty.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Moving on. So when I last left off, I was talking about going back to the gym and stuff. So I just wanted to get a little bit more in detail with that. So I went back to the gym at the 9-week mark. That's a lot later than you're allowed to go back, but I just wanted to make sure I was comfortable and felt okay to do so. So I went back after 9 weeks, and running on the treadmill, there's no issue. Like, there's no pain. They don't bounce. Like, when you wear a sports bra, they just kind of stay in place. I know with real boobs, it's like kind of a struggle with running and all of that, but there was no issue at all. Doing things like the lat pull and everything, that was a little bit more uncomfortable at first. I can't really do much weight on that anyways. Like, even 45 pounds is too much for me. I stop at 30, and at first I did feel a little bit like uncomfortable and weird. Now I'm completely fine. There's no issue. Like, I'm okay to do the lat pull. Yoga is fine, like laying on my chest and everything. Of course it feels like weird and you feel like, what if they pop or something? Nothing's happened yet, so far so good. As long as you're in a sports bra, you have no issues at all with any of the machines. Stairmaster, treadmill, elliptical, running, doing weights, squats with like heavy weights and stuff. You don't feel anything out of the ordinary. Leg press, lat pull. I'm trying to think of everything. I don't lift, so I don't do barbells and stuff. I just do kind of more cardio, and then my arm workouts, as far as that goes, it's the lat pull and then like mini weights. And I haven't had any issues, no pain or discomfort or anything, so that's really great news. Next up, I finally got sized for bras, and I was in shock. To me, like, they just seem so average sized, like they don't seem big. Like, I know on camera they look like, but in person they just look a little bit more, they look fine, like they're big, but they're not like huge. but I guess everything is relative to your body size and your width, and then the cup, and everything comes together. And I'm proud to say that I am the new owner of a pair of 32 double D boobs, aka a 32E. I'm sorry, I had to do that. Don't judge the bra. I actually don't like it. It's very like weird looking. It's not cute and it looks huge, but on it actually looks nice. It was super awkward going up to the employee and being like, hey, I was just wondering, would I be able to get sized? And then having to have her like literally size me. And then when she told me 32 double D, I was like, oh, I don't think so. Like, And then she's like, well, you can go into the fitting room and try on one of the test sizes. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Went into the fitting room, tried the 32 double D, thinking this girl was crazy, and it fit perfectly. Like absolutely perfectly. And it kind of confirmed the size difference, because on the left side it was like perfect, but on the right side it still fit and like covered the whole thing, but it was a little bit looser. So I was like, okay, I need to get this fixed. Like, it's not the end of the world. I was so stressed about it and cried about it and stuff in the past, but now I'm like, fine. It's like, I don't even really care anymore. Don't get it twisted, I still care. I'm just not as like torn up about it as I was before. Next up is I've stopped wearing the compression bra. I don't know if I updated this on my last one. I don't have to wear it anymore, but like now I only wear it as like an additional bra if I just want to wear it under something. I just wear it randomly. Like, there really is no reason why I'm wearing it. Just like if I feel like it, I just put it on, which is strange, but yeah, I don't really wear it anymore. I think I mentioned in my last video that I did have full sensation going on and it was coming back and all that stuff. I think it was in my mind, because it's definitely gone. I can't explain it, because obviously like if I scratch myself, like I pinch my chest, like I feel it, but it's not like, but there's a slight reduction in like any sensitivity that you feel in the general area there. So yeah, it may have given some misinformation in my last video. A lot of people say that nothing changes for them. A lot of people say it completely is gone. For me, it's like somewhere in the middle, just because it's not something I really thought about in the past. So now I don't really know, like I don't really know, but I'm just gonna go with saying that sensitivity has definitely reduced significantly. Next is sleeping on my side and stomach. I've never been a stomach sleeper, and I randomly went through a phase where I was just sleeping on my stomach, mainly because one of the nurses suggested doing that in order to get them to drop. I feel that that was really good advice. Sleeping on your stomach helps them to drop so much. Right now I'm wearing a really thick material, Skims type top, so that's why they look very like pushed together and like high and everything, but when I'm just walking around normally, they are a lot more dropped and there isn't as much of that like cleavage up there. Mainly I think because of time and because I've been sleeping on my stomach. I also sleep on my side and there's no issue. Like it just feels normal. Like you feel the squish. Everything is completely soft now. I wasn't doing my massages and things. I started doing them a little bit just because of someone else in the comments reminding me about capsular constructure, and I was like, I've talked about this in my videos, how could I forget? So whenever I randomly remember, then I'll just do the massages, but other than that, I haven't really been doing them. But I've been sleeping on my stomach, sleeping on my side, everything is squishy, it all just kind of like, it's fine. Next up is there is a noticeable drop, finally. So I feel like if I have the top up a little bit, it looks a little bit more normal, but there is definitely a noticeable drop. Like I was looking at pictures from before when I first got them done and they were just huge and round, and now they look really normal. Like, but even like wearing a normal top, they just kind of like go down a bit. Like there isn't that extreme cleavage if I'm not wearing a tight top. If I'm wearing a loose top, they do look a little bit more on the normal side, and I have a feeling they're going to keep on looking more and more normal as time goes on. By this stage, there's definitely a very significant drop. So if you're in the stage where you're at like 2 weeks or something and you're really worried, thinking, oh my gosh, they look so fake, they look horrible, don't worry, things change so much. And I watched so many videos where people were saying, I promise you it's going to get better, it's going to look better, blah, blah, blah. And I was still panicking and I didn't believe them, and I know you're not going to believe me. I wouldn't have believed myself if I watched a video of myself in the future talking about this in the past. So just, I promise it gets better. In the middle at one point, I did think that I noticed stretch marks like right in the middle, like along the sides, but it turns out it was just rippling. So sometimes in different positions, I do notice that when I'm sitting or like crouched in a certain way, I will notice a little bit of rippling. It's not terrible, but my skin is starting to stretch out a bit. So at first everything was super, super tight. My skin was so shiny, you know, like if you just got them done, you'll have shiny skin syndrome. So that goes away, and then your skin elasticity does come back and it loosens up again. And then, like, I don't know if you can see this, but your skin is able to stretch again. So it does come back, and the implant itself also starts to kind of soften up a bit, so that's why there's rippling, especially with saline. I don't think with silicone it's as bad, but mine are saline, so yeah, it does happen, but it's not terrible and it's not noticeable, and it's not all the time. The next update is on back pain. So I know with real boobs, a lot of people suffer from back pain and back issues when they have super large boobs. I don't know if it's because mine are a little bit more proportionate to my body size, but there is no back pain, no issue. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel any different on my chest than it did when I was flat chested. You just walk around, you don't notice that they're there. Like you don't feel anything out of the ordinary. Even how like my arms, if I squeeze them in, I can like feel here. The doctor mentioned that if I were to get moderate, it would bother me because my arms would be touching them, but you don't notice anything. It's like the boobs are just there. And just a note to back onto the topic of back pain is pain in general. No pain at all. There's no weird random shocks of pain, no weird sensations, nothing. By this stage, all the pain is gone and you're just left with boobs. It's so funny because during the healing process, you go through so many phases where you just kind of think, was it worth it? Was all the nausea worth it? All this pain I'm feeling worth it? Having to take like hardcore medication, narcotics, was it worth it? Yes, it is. Okay, so this question is a little bit of an awkward one, but somebody did ask me this to my face. Do the size of your nips change at all? The answer is no. And I know that sounds weird, and I know it doesn't make any sense at all. I don't understand how that works, but the size doesn't change. So they were maybe like this big, and my boobs were like this big. Now my boobs are this big, and they're still this big. Like they don't stretch. Let me just check this one. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't giving you guys fake news, but yeah, the size doesn't change at all. I don't know why, I don't know how, but it doesn't. So, and it doesn't look weird that it doesn't change. And you would think that if they stay small and your boobs get bigger, it would look weird, but it doesn't. Like it stays the exact same. So yeah, I hope that answers some people's questions, because I know there are some questions people want to know and maybe are afraid to ask. So, and sometimes there are things that you don't even think to ask. Like that's not something that ever even crossed my mind. So yeah, they don't change. How they look laying down. So I know that a lot of people have had issues where one falls to the side and one stays up, or they fall like really far to the side for some reason. I've gotten really lucky that mine kind of just barely move to the side whenever I'm laying down. So they kind of just fall naturally. It doesn't even look like two random balls in my chest just to the, it's a very like subtle, like normal look. I checked to see what I look like and it doesn't look strange or anything. I have been noticing like when I'm watching shows now or like listening to people's vlogs and stuff, hearing these types of questions. So they don't really move much when I lay down. It's just kind of like off to the side, but in a very natural way. So if you do get the surgery done and they fall really far or something like that, I don't think it's something to even really worry about. I don't think anybody cares, because that's how natural boobs would fall anyways, right? I assume. I've never had natural boobs, so I assume they would fall like completely to the side. Everyone is different. I think it all depends on your personal socket of where the implant is placed or how the surgeon does it. Maybe if that's something you're concerned about, talk to them before your surgery. So if there is anything they can do about that, then they'll do it. The next point I have written down is that I wish I went bigger. That sounds crazy, I know, but there's still that little voice in my head saying, I kind of wish that I went bigger. Like, I obviously wish I didn't do 2 separate sizes because that's created a huge issue for me. But separately from that, I kind of do wish that I went a little bit bigger. I know they didn't recommend me bigger, but they did say that they would be willing to like work with me and try. And I know they could because they're a clinic that isn't afraid to go very large, so to speak. They recommended this size to me, so did the other surgeon that I went to do a consultation with. But I do kind of wish that I went for a bigger size. Like at first when I saw them, I was petrified. I was like, absolutely not, these are huge, I should have got like 200cc, blah, 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 blah. But then as they settle and they start to look a little bit smaller and they shrink and they drop, and at first I didn't have this gap in the middle. Now I do have a gap. It's not huge. It's like maybe about 1 inch wide. But I always wonder, like, if I went bigger, would it have made the gap smaller? Or would it have looked strange? It would have been nice to go a little bit bigger, but it's okay. I'm still happy with them. And maybe in 10 years when I have to replace them, then I will. By the way, they said you don't have to replace them every 10 years because, you know, the quality of the implant in this day and age is so good that you can keep them pretty much until they rupture, but we'll see. So that's it for my 12 questions or 12 updates. Now I'm just going to talk about some of the questions that I had in my previous 6-week post-op update video, just because I'm looking at the questions now and I'm like, there are some things that maybe people want to know what's changed. So how do they feel? I talked about it last time, but now they feel even softer because it almost feels like there's like a layer of squish. It's really hard to explain, but it feels like there's like a layer of squish on top of the implant. Of course you can still feel it, but they do feel softer, like they're getting softer as time goes on. And there's a lot more movement. So before, if I would like shake or something, or if I jump, there would be no movement. It would just be like 2 rocks just moving with my body. Now there's actually jiggle. If I shake or if I like jump, you'll actually see them shake, and like if you do that, they'll jiggle and stuff. So movement and softness is definitely starting to come into play as time goes on, and it's still only 4.5 months. So imagine after a year, right? Things are going to be so different. Last time I also talked about how the excitement never goes away. It's still the same. I'm still sitting here making these videos for you guys when nobody even asked for them, but the excitement doesn't go away. You still see them and you're always looking to see like, what's different this time? Like, has anything changed? Am I feeling anything new? So the excitement is still there. I've still been wearing my silicone tapes. They said I have to wear them for a year. I have been going between silicone tapes and bio oil, which I know the nurse told me last time not to use bio oil, but I am still doing it. However, I'm on my last set of clear tapes now, and I'm going to be switching over to the brown pair. I'll insert a photo of what they look like here and a link down below, just because the clear ones, I don't really like the way they stick. So with the clear ones, after you shower and stuff, over time the water starts to lift it in a weird way, and I don't think that it's really helping as much because it's constantly lifted, and you're supposed to keep them on for 10 days according to my the nurse. So I am going to try the brown one just because it looks like more band-aid material, and I feel like it would stick a little bit better. The incision is right in the crease, so no one can really see it anyways. When I put my swimsuit on, it's not obvious at all. So I am going to try the brown ones out and see how they are, and I'll give you guys a little update about how that goes. But it is really important to wear the silicone tapes. I've done a little bit more research on them, and there actually is like a benefit to silicone tapes for scars in general. It's a lot better than using bio oil. So I definitely have been taking that more seriously and making sure that I keep them on pretty much always. The only time I'll use bio oil is for a day. When I take the tapes off, I'll put like bio oil on that night, and then the next day after I shower, put on fresh tapes. Something that I talked about in my first video was about the shape change, and the shape is definitely changing. They're starting to look a lot more realistic. They're not as round anymore. They're starting to kind of look a little bit more like a little bit more sloped down, and then the under part kind of slopes up a bit. I am starting to get a little bit more used to how they look, but I want to but it's definitely a weird one. Like, it's just not what I imagined them to look like. So It definitely takes getting used to just because it's such a drastic change. Because before I had really small boobs, so it was kind of like a slope and then like just sloped up. And now it's kind of like this big cleavage down and then the slope up. So it's almost like a comey shape. It slowly is going away and transforming into a more normal shape, but it's still really weird. So the shape change is like the weirdest and slowest part of this whole shimon-bang. I recently went on vacation and I was wearing a swimsuit. It was awkward at first, just walking around in a swimsuit and having these huge boobs, and I did feel a little bit conscious at first, but then I got over it. I didn't go into the ocean, so I can't really speak on like how the effect of going in the ocean would affect the incisions or anything, but my doctor did say it would be fine as long as I was wearing my tapes. Of course, I still have the issue of the left side being bigger than the right. My next update video will be at the 6-month mark. My 6-month post-op appointment is in August, so that's in 2 months. And then we're going to be talking a bit more about the doctor fixing my size discrepancy, and then I will try and vlog that. So I might be posting the next update in September, just so that you guys can kind of have your questions answered, plus see an actual vlog of him adding more saline in, which I think will be hilarious because I said he cannot film me for his social media, but then I'm gonna ask him if I can film for mine, so that's hilarious. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to like it, leave a comment in the comment section down below. I answer every single question because I know that, you know, this is a really big decision to make. It's a huge, crazy process, and it's good to have as much information as possible before going into it. So I answer all the comments, any questions you have, anything you want to know, anything at all. Please remember to subscribe to my channel so next time I post a video, you'll be the first one to see it. Bye guys.